I think I got it, because right now people are complaining that Hugh Jackman is singing Smells Like Teen Spirit and Blitzkrieg Bop, and they're like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, I'm here to say, hear me out, that Kurt Cobain and the Ramones actually wrote those songs as kids with Hugh Jackman, therefore they are from Neverland. Makes sense to me. Okay, so Pan follows the story of a young orphan named Peter Pan, who after being left at an orphanage as a baby, he's living life dreaming of the day he can actually meet his parents. Until one night he gets swooped up by clowns, taken to a floating pirate ship, and he flies to a dystopian Neverland led by the villainous Blackbeard. And Blackbeard knows of a prophecy that Peter Pan may be involved in, so just to be safe, Blackbeard wants to kill Peter Pan. And while being on the run from the villainous dictator, Peter Pan, along with a group of friends, must lead an uprising, while at the same time he learns more about his background. Now Pan, for those who somehow didn't know, this is a retelling of the classic tale Peter Pan, but in this one they treat it like an origin story. It shows how Peter Pan became Peter Pan and how Hook became Captain Hook and how Rufio got his red mohawk. You get it. Rufio! And we've seen the story of Peter Pan like a million times over, but in this adaptation, it was just okay, really. Cause saying like, yeah, it's okay, compared to, nah, it's okay, it's entirely different. Because you have an all-star cast portraying these iconic characters, and really every single one of them are legit cartoon characters. You have Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard, who's this over-the-top, overacted villain who sings Nirvana and the Ramones smoking pixie crack. He just wasn't good in this movie. Garrett Hedlund as Hook, which I haven't seen since Tron Legacy, so it should have been like, oh yeah, I'm rooting for you because I haven't seen you in a movie for 5 years. And just like Blackbeard, he was over the top, he was overacting, and he was a lot worse than he was in Tron Legacy. You remember how bad he was in Tron Legacy. Probably out of all the characters, which I don't necessarily blame him for, he just had the worst dialogue out of anybody in the movie. Rooney Mara as Tiger Lily. Here's a fun thing about Rooney Mara is that I know that she's a good actress, but her performance in this movie just made it look like she did not want to be there. But when she's saying her lines like, "The Pan is our tribe's greatest warrior. You were the chosen one, Peter. You were sent to destroy Blackbeard, not join him." It's just really funny to me how these actors make it so obvious that they realize that their screen time is a waste of time, but it makes it more fun for me because I get to talk about it here on the YouTubes. And here we are introduced to Levi Miller as Peter Pan, which he is the best acted character out of the whole movie. And that's pretty sad. Because knowing that this is going to be his first movie, he's going to give it his all. Which he does, I'll give him props for, but he was just okay in the movie. Everybody in here, they were cartoons. And speaking of cartoons, that's what the movie was like, because green screen was everywhere. I don't think there was a real set in this movie because every scene was built entirely on green screen. The worst part about it is that wasn't even that great of a green screen to begin with. It was there blinding you, just like in Baz Luhrmann's version of The Great Gatsby. Neverland is supposed to be this fantasy world where kids dream of going there, never growing up, and going on adventures with Peter Pan, and that's the whole point really, is to use your imagination and see it go wild and go free. The special effects in here don't really do that justice. I mean, there's this one scene where Peter Pan is literally floating in space, and the CGI to him was clunky. It was atrocious. It's like, come on now, this is 2015. The CGI to Avatar was a lot better, and that movie came out 6 years ago. And I understand that this movie was pushed back a few months. It could have been editing problems or post-production problems, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was both. Because Pan is an extremely rushed movie. It takes very little time for them getting to the mines they are in, to the natives' territory and the Mermaid Lagoon. It's like, whoa dude, take it back a couple steps. And I know it sounds like I am just bitching about this movie, but if you're an adult, you see all these little things and they really all add up. However, underneath all the horse shit, there was something about this movie that was like, okay, it's kind of a cool throwback to old 80s and 90s kids movies. Because even though you have a terrible script with bad CGI, they execute in a way where it can be darker than what it appears. For example, Blackbeard is singing those songs in a whimsical way, but while he's doing that, he's killing kids who disobey his rules. He seriously kills a kid in this movie. This movie wasn't afraid to say, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna spill your blood. Pan had the balls to do that just like kids movies 20 years ago. I was looking around my theater and kids were having a great time watching Pan. If you have kids, take them to go see Pan, but when they're older, they'll realize that it's not a good movie at all. It's sort of like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie for me, because as a kid, I thought it was the greatest movie ever. There could be no movie better than the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But I watch it now and I realize that it's a terrible movie, but since it's from my childhood, I can't help but watch it because it brings back those precious memories. That is how Pan is gonna be for some kids, because it's sort of like this cartoonish fun adventure, but if you're an adult, why bother? Because in the end, Pan had bad performances. There wasn't really an actor that stood out to me. It had really bad green screen, really bad special effects, and it was really noticeable how this movie got delayed, but somehow there was this charm to it that was a cool throwback to some of the movies that I grew up with, because if you have kids, take them to see Pan at the matinee price at best, but if you don't want to sit through a CGI mess, just wait for the red box release. Funny how I say the movie is rushed, yet this review is rushed too, so I just shot myself in the foot there. But anyway guys, I want to know what your thoughts are on About Pan. What is your favorite version of Peter Pan? Whatever it is, leave it down below. And as always, there's a link for my Twitter and my Facebook below as well. Keep in contact with me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. But in the meantime, I have to get going to go to Neverland and stop them from ever making another Peter Pan movie.